Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. This is show number 50. Today's date is it's May 12th, 2014. And guys, we've been doing a lot with Solarize Brookfield. So today, a lot of the show is going to be about Solarize Brookfield. But you're going to look at the name of the show. Is that coming through all right? Let's see. What's going on? But is that coming through? Anyway, the name of the show is Yes, We Did. And guys, rather than me try to explain it to you, I'll let the president do it. John?
But the debate is settled. Climate change is a fact. And when our children's children look us in the eye and ask if we did all we could to leave them a safer, more stable world with new sources of energy, I want us to be able to say, yes, we did.
Guys, did you hear what the president said? It's really that simple. He said, when our children's children look us in the eye and ask what we did, let me start all over because I goofed. When our children's children looks us in the eye and asks us what we did, if we did all we could to leave them a safer, more stable world with new sources of energy, I want to be able to say, yes, we did. Guys, now, you're going to say, okay, Rich, you're going to be looking for volunteers. You want me to jump around with one of those posters. You want me to go to these meetings and you want me to... No. I want you to do one thing. I want you to pick up your phone. Well, you might not even have to pick it up. Most people have them on them. And I want you to call Ross Solar. It's that simple. That's all you have to do. John, can you put up the graphic? We'll show Ross Solar with the phone number. And guys, this is all you want to do. Call up. Find out if you qualify to have solar put on your house. It's a simple phone call. And guys, we got some good, John, if you come back and forth, but what happened to the phone number? See, that's why we tried to bring that up. There you go. That's what we want. Guys, this gets a little tricky. Okay. We did this kind of impromptu, so you got to bear with us, all right? But guys, what it boils down to is virtually picking up the phone. Now, Ross Solar, believe it or not, so far for Solarize Brookfield has had 15 phone calls, 15 inquiries. And out of the 15, 14 qualified. Now you're going to say, what do you mean they qualified? Is they're the owners of the houses, they're, was the equity in the house and did they have to? No. When I say qualified, I'm more or less talking about the orientation of your house in regard to the way it faces the sun. So, like my house, we didn't qualify because I live under a gorgeous maple tree. But that's why we bought the house, for the tree. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. But you can call Ross Solar. And what they'll do is they'll take a picture of your house and they'll see if you qualify. And from there, guys, what we'll start to see is you'll start to see how the whole process with solar goes. And hopefully we'll be going out to the houses when they're putting the panels on the roof. And hopefully they'll be having block parties where people can, and they're going to be in the Memorial Day parade in Brookfield. Solarize Brookfield is going to have a banner and stuff. I won't be able to march, I can't do much anything. But anyway, I'll be there in spirit and I'll take some videos. I'll stop it, Judy. But guys, tonight what we want to do is, you know, when it comes to the stats and everything, as far as solarization goes, what we want to do is we just want to lay the cards on the table. And you're not going to believe the amount of savings that you can really achieve when you buy in group, because that's really what's happening here. With the Solarize program, and we're going to show you virtually everything that was shown up in Brookfield. But what you're doing is you're trying to bring down the soft costs. And I'll explain what that is in a little while. But the cost of solar itself has come down, and by buying in group, it brings the price even further. And I tell you guys, there's other benefits, and the other benefits are they're going to give away free stuff, like free solar systems to schools. I'm thinking maybe a free solar system to the senior center. How about a free solar system to the police station? I know it sounds absurd, but could you imagine if we eliminated the electric bill for the police station and the chief goes out and hires another officer to protect the people? Now we're starting to talk. These are things that we want to see happen in the community. And with Solarize Brookfield, you're going to start to see them happen. Remember, guys, like I said, you're putting a tattoo on your roof. It's that simple. So tonight, the videos, we're really only going to do 2 other videos. And the second one is, I wanted to explain something. In the last show, the reason why I do this show and the reason why I became an activist is because of Fox News. It's that simple, guys. Fox News is what drove me to do this show. And why? Because they don't tell you the truth. They mislead you. And tonight we're going to show you a specific example of why and how they do it. Again, we're going to show you. And guys, you're not going to change the stripes on this zebra. I'm sorry. I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. So I'm not going to bow to Fox, and I'm not going to not give them the old bada bing every week. But what I'll do is, because I'm a gentleman, and because maybe I don't want to ruffle too many conservatives' feathers, what I'll do is, in the beginning of the show from now on, we'll just talk about Solarize and Solarize only. That's it. We'll show you what's going on. We'll show you how many people signed up. We'll show you how much money they're saving. We'll try to show you as much as we can so that the thing is, there's no ignorance when it comes to solar. You're going to be able to say, Rich, I get it, I understand. I mean, some of it's a little tricky, and we're going to show you how Fox tried to trick everybody today. But anyway, let's play the first clip, and this is putting solar panels at the White House. John, hit it.
Solar panels in the White House, I think, are a really important message that solar is here. We are doing it. We can do a lot more. I am very bullish on the future of solar energy as a key part of our clean energy future.
The size of the array that we established here is the typical size for the average American house. Being at the White House, we do have some security concerns. We can't cover the entire roof with panels, though that would be good from an energy saving standpoint.
Everything from the solar components to the inverter technologies to the labor that put the panels on the roof was all American, domestic source, domestic made. It serves as a symbol that American technology in solar is available, it's reliable, and it's ready for millions of Americans across the country.
So the first thing what we did was we drilled down to the concrete and then basically epoxied a series of threaded rods back up through the batten tops. We then were able to install a series of grids for a subassembly upon which the solar panels could then be secured.
Clean energy revolution is not something for the distant future. It's happening right now, and we want to capture that.
Every 4 minutes, some small business or homeowner is going solar. In a sense, we're going through a transition here, and the industry is going through a transition that we're just seeing the beginning of.
The president is basically doing what Americans all across the nation are doing right now. They're making the conscious choice to look for renewable energy like solar as the cheaper, cleaner, and preferred energy source for their homes and families.
You know, we need a diversified clean energy portfolio as articulated in the president's climate action plan, which we are actively engaged in now. And we also need to spur the economic sectors of the future. Last year alone, we created over 23,000 new jobs in solar energy.
Obviously, the more that we can, install renewable energy sources, the better off not just the White House is, but the nation is, and so is the whole planet.
Okay, so guys, you would say that was pretty conclusive, wouldn't you? I mean, the White House going in the right direction and putting solar panels on your house. But, this morning, I'm sitting home watching Fox TV, minding my own business. And guess what happens to come on? At 6:42 on Fox and Friends, they announce the White House makes energy for 6 light bulbs. That's right. They said, and guys, if I could have got it on YouTube, I would have posted it, but I couldn't. The chyrons, you remember, I can only get stuff off of YouTube, but the chyrons definitively said White House spent millions just for 6 light bulbs. So I'm saying to myself, oh brother, here we go. Now I got to put on my unpacking hat, and I got to figure out how they blew this out of distortion, and how they're giving everybody the double reverse, and how are they deceiving everybody, and how are they misleading them? And guys, why we surround ourselves with the question marks? What were their sources? So I Googled it. I Googled White House solar panels, 6 light bulb, the whole thing. And guys, what I came up with was a website called the BizPack Review. I know. World-renowned, isn't it? An everyday word. Just like Webster's Dictionary, the BizPack Review. And the title of the article is Obama Adds Solar Powers to the White House. Innocent enough, isn't it? There's a date. I'm very proud of them. They did put in a date, May 11, 2014. Oh, wait a minute, my mistake. And there's an author, Richard Burkow. Oh, this is getting better. Now we can email this guy and have fun with him. But let me read you what he had to say. Let me read you. Banking that Americans won't remember his Solyndra debacle. Solyndra in Benghazi. You want to get some of the conservative? That's all you got to say. Solyndra, Benghazi. Those are the only 3 words you need to know. You want to ruffle feathers? So anyway, won't remember his Solyndra debacle, $535 million worth of taxpayers' money down the toilet. Of course, they never mention the other programs in the fund, like Tesla and Ivanpah. They'll never talk about those successful things. Never. Because they only pick the losers. Oh, I love giving them the business. You know, Obama only picks the winners and the losers, and he only picks the losers. You never mention the winners. Why is that? All right, but anyway, I'm getting. So, President Obama went ahead and spent millions more to install solar panels on the White House roof. They'll produce enough power for 6 light bulbs, according to Fox News. And they have Fox News underlined in blueprint. So what do? I want to see what sources Fox News used. Guys, I clicked on the article, and it was an article from AP, a respected news organization. And guess what? The article had nothing at all to say about these light bulbs. Nothing. So I'm saying, you gotta be kidding me. This is how these guys play ball? They make something, you know what bothers me? What about the guy, Steve Ducey or Brian, that had to read that in the morning? Doesn't he say to the, hey guys, listen, I'm having a tough time with this. I mean, people can't be this stupid. I mean, somebody's gonna figure, well guys, you know, they're dealing with simple folk. And you're gonna say, Rich, what do you mean simple folk? Hey, listen, I'm trying to be nice here. You know, I'm really trying to be nice. But these are the people that just simply don't know. They just don't know, but let me continue with them. It just gets better. So anyway, here goes. Furthermore, the White House boasted in a propaganda video, the video you just saw, they considered a propaganda video, like the White House is Nazi Germany, you know what I mean? Oh boy. And that that everything involved, the parts, the labor, the design, the technology was American, and that everyone could be proud of this sterling achievement. The investment, the White House said, recaps a noteworthy savings and reinforces the president's commitment to green energy. How noteworthy? According to Trade Wind Energy, 150-watt light bulb consumes 1,000 watt-hours of energy in 20 hours. So a 6.3 kilowatt-hour system produces the prodigious power to light all of 6 bulbs. That'll keep those White House electric bills down to ground level. Guys, what did they do here? What did they do? They played with the math, and they misrepresented everything. But you know what? Uncle Joe, who's going to be watching Fox News tonight, when he sees that the White House spent $1.5 million to turn on only 6 lights, he's going to sit there, see that, Stella? See, I told you this green stuff doesn't work. And guys, this is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to deal with. So we got to stop it. And I'm sorry I went off, but you see what happens. And I mean, they make me crazy. Like my Jewish friends, they make me meshugana. So anyway, now we're going to play another video, and this is from Bernie Sanders. Now, he's not a Republican, he's not a Democrat, he's an independent from Vermont. And we're going to show you a little video from Bernie about the soft costs and about putting solar panels on your roof, how they want to do 10 million roofs. And I want you to pay attention. In Germany, they did 2 million roofs in 1 year. So if you think we had success with 13 homes in Brookfield, you ain't seen nothing yet. So John, hit it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. for including the 10 Million Solar Roofs Act in today's hearing. I was proud to introduce this legislation with Senator Boozman and very much appreciate the chairman's support as an original co-sponsor. This bipartisan bill will lower the cost of solar energy for families and businesses and set strong goals for American solar energy production. There is no question but that we have made dramatic progress in cutting the cost of manufacturing solar panels by 72% since 1985, and that is one of the reasons why the solar industry is exploding in this country. They saw, as I understand it, Mr. Chairman, something like a 64% increase in their sales just last year alone. On the other hand, we have not made the same kind of progress on so-called soft costs of installing solar. It's one thing to lower the cost in producing and manufacturing solar, another thing in terms of installing, and that includes permitting and inspection fees. These fees account for up to 20% of the price of solar and are equivalent to a $1 billion tax on solar over the next 5 years. We can do better. In Germany, solar energy is 40% cheaper, thanks in part to a simpler permitting process. In Vermont, I'm happy to say we have just passed legislation this year to streamline solar permitting and eliminate fees. I think it's going to lower the cost in Vermont, and we'd like to see that all over America. Secretary Chu's Sunshot Initiative sets a goal of reducing permitting-related costs by up to 88% to make solar cost competitive with fossil fuels without any subsidies. That is the long-term goal. By 2020, that's an ambitious goal that I believe we can reach. Our bill will help achieve that goal by providing modest competitive grants to local governments who commit to cut unnecessary red tape and reduce permitting costs. Communities that succeed will be eligible for DOE certification as solar-friendly cities and towns, helping them attract solar business. The grants, which are fully offset, help streamline the permitting process by simplifying and standardizing permit forms and creating online permit applications, funding training for inspectors to help make the process more efficient, and providing modest funds for community solar projects to pilot new permitting processes. Our bill also sets a goal of 10 million solar rooftops by the end of the decade. We need this ambitious vision to compete for solar energy jobs. Germany installed solar in 1 million homes in the past 2 years alone. China has doubled its solar energy target to 50 gigawatts by 2020, the equivalent of 50 nuclear plants. The bipartisan 10 Million Solar Roofs Act, supported by the Solar Energy Industries Association and the National League of Cities, will help us lower the cost of solar and create jobs, and I look forward to working with my colleagues to achieve broad support for this bill in committee.
So guys, there you have it. You know, the whole idea is to concentrate the installations in one area so you don't have guys running all over the place. You know, you get the permitting together, and I spoke to Stefan today. Stefan is from Ross Solar, and you're going to meet him in a little while. And he said, Rich, in order to participate in Solarize Brookfield, you really don't have to. I mean, you could be borderline. You know, you get the. I'm trying to wink, and you. I mean, you can be close. I mean, if you're close, they're going to take care of you. And why? Because they don't have to travel, you know? But I mean, you know, if you live in Wappins Just Falls, you got to, you know, don't bother calling. You know what I mean? You get the idea, right? All right, so anyway, now we're going to show you, John and I tell you guys, John did such a beautiful job with this video. Because I don't think people realize how hard it is to stand behind the camera for an hour. And I mean, he did some beautiful camera work. So now you're going to get to meet everybody involved with Solarize Brookfield. So John, let's run the first one.
The Brookfield Town Energy Committee, and Peter Donnelly sitting there, Rick Knowles sitting there, and Johnny Burke over there are also on the Energy Committee here to support us. We're running a kind of a competition tonight with the budget hearing, so I think a lot of people are over there at the high school now involved in the budget hearing. So in any event, you guys are going to get a real personal demonstration here of what this is all about. So in last fall, actually, Brookfield joined the Clean Energy Communities Program. It's a state program run by CEFIA, which is the Clean Energy Finance Investment Authority, and the Clean Energy Clean Energy Efficiency Fund. I'm not sure exactly how many towns are in that, Bob.
In the communities program?
Yeah.
It's at least 92.
Oh.
We may not have all the pledges in hand, but I think we're getting close to 100 towns.
Oh, great. So 169 towns, so we're
Getting there.
Is that 20 by 20? Is that what you're talking?
it's 20.
It's the successor to the program, I think the Clean Energy Communities program.
It's for municipal buildings, that 20% renewable energy purchased by 2018, and 20% renewable energy and 20% energy efficiency reduction by 2018. So this is a big would be big progress toward actually saving energy, and that's that much less energy used. And so it's a really big step that the state is taking, and that we in Brookfield here are also taking to promote the general cause of energy efficiency and clean energy usage. So this solar program, Solarize Connecticut, and now it's locally Solarize Brookfield, is also run by CEFIA, and it's a state program. We applied in Brookfield, we applied for it, and they came to us and asked us if we would, and eventually we were selected. And hopefully we'll do well in selling a lot of people on getting clean energy, namely through solar rooftop panels on their roof. So the people that are Ross Solar, who are here to be the ultimate people who will tell you whether you are able to have solar panels on your roof. But we have Bob Wall, who is with the CEFIA, the director, associate director, whatever, of outreach, and Aaron O'Sullivan with Smart Power. And they're the people, along with Ross, I'll let them introduce you from Ross Solar, who are going to tell you about the solar panels, how you can find out about it. You know, there's no commitment on at this meeting at all. So I'll turn the meeting over to them. Thank you.
Okay, guys, next we're going to meet Bob Wall, and he's going to explain the freebies. And that's what I like, because I tell you, I mean, if we could make this work, and I mean, there's different ways that you can achieve, free solar. And, it gets a little bit, he's going to explain parts of it, but there's more. I mean, just by changing your electric bill, you can get, points for your town. And I tell you, the thing that I'd really want to see is solar panels on schools. Like we showed you in Danbury at the Ellsworth Avenue School. Every day that those kids walk into that classroom, they're looking at a solar array. And I mean, the idea just gets embedded. And hopefully, as time goes on, when people start building houses, they're going to say, well, we better orientate the house so we get the best sun location. But we'll see. As time goes on, you'll see. So here's Bob Wall, and he's going to explain some of the freebies and how everything works. So, John?
But we have Bob Wall, who is with the CEFIA, the director, associate director, whatever, of outreach, and Aaron O'Sullivan with Smart Power. And they're the people, along with Ross, I'll let them introduce you from Ross Solar, who are going to tell you about the solar panels, how you can find out about it. There's no commitment on this at this meeting at all. So I'll turn the meeting over to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcia, and thank all of you for taking time to join us tonight. They say timing is everything, and the good news about timing is there has never been a better time to go solar. We're going to tell you a little bit about the Solarize program and then turn it over to Ross Solar Group, who's going to explain how it works and what their particular offer is. But we came up with a motto for the program, and in 3 words tried to describe what is special about it, and they are solar, simple, together. A lot of people don't believe that solar works well in Connecticut. We're pretty far north, and it is true that we don't get as much sun as places like Arizona or Southern California, but when you factor in our relatively high electricity rates, the economics of solar in Connecticut are quite spectacular. I don't know how many people here know that Germany is the world's leading adopter of solar, but we get far more sunlight here in Connecticut than they do in Germany. So I want you to understand right from the outset that solar is a proven technology that works extremely well here, and because of the electricity rates, the economics are quite favorable for you, the consumers. And we tried to make it simple. A lot of customers can get bewildered because there are so many different installers out there, so many different types of equipment and prices, and it gets very confusing. You don't know where to begin. So the Solarize package provides, through a competitive solicitation, Ross Solar Group was chosen. They're one of the most experienced installers in the state, and they offer a fantastic package to you at discounted prices. So it takes a lot of the complexity out of this decision. And the together part is really where you come in. We've been working the past month or more with the Energy Commission and to help spread the word. And the idea is to create a word-of-mouth campaign through all of our respective networks to let your fellow townspeople, your friends and neighbors and coworkers know about this very special deal. And the reason for that is the more people who sign up for solar through Solarize, the cheaper it gets for everybody. So this program, Solarize, was developed in Oregon and replicated in Massachusetts. We brought it here to Connecticut in the fall of 2012. And counting the towns in this current round, we will have done approximately a quarter of the towns in the state. And so far, every town we've worked with has succeeded in at least doubling the number of systems over a 20-week period or less as compared to the previous decade. So solar is selling like hotcakes, and we want that to happen again here in Brookfield. What should provide comfort to you, this is a state-sponsored program. We are a quasi-public agency. We used to be known as the Connecticut Clean Energy Fund, currently known as the Clean Energy Finance and Investment Authority. And the next time you see me, we might be known as Connecticut Green Bank. But it's all one entity. But it's not only sponsored by the state, but also endorsed by the town and the Energy Commission. So you know there's some credibility behind it. Over the next 20 weeks, starting tonight, we're going to conduct a very concentrated campaign. We'll have workshops, open houses, appear at local fairs and events, and use all the channels to get the word out about this, so that hopefully by the end of the 20 weeks, we'll have a lot more solar here in Brookfield. And Marcia mentioned that the town has joined the Clean Energy Communities program. For every system that gets installed here, the town will get 3 points. And if they use any of Cephia's financing products, which we'll talk about tonight, you get an additional point. And then for every 100 points, the town earns a free clean energy system, which can either be solar PV or some other technology. So that's kind of a bonus for the town. And the reason we're able to offer, they're able to offer such fantastic pricing is because through this word-of-mouth campaign and the education over the next 20 weeks, we're hoping to deliver a lot of customers to them, and they would otherwise have to spend money to do traditional marketing. Because of that, they can shave money off of their price offer and give you discounts of 20% or more off the current state averages for solar PV. So that's why there's never been a better time to go solar. I told you a little bit about who we are in terms of a quasi-public agency. We help to develop and administer the overall program. We do provide incentives, whether you want to purchase your system or lease it. There's a lot of different options. There used to be a lot of reasons people could think of to not go solar, but now with the prices coming down, with the incentives that will never be higher because we're required by law to reduce them over a series of steps. So if you wait another year, there's going to be less incentive money out there, and pretty soon the federal tax credit might also be sunsetting. So this is really an opportune time to go solar. We also have developed some financing products that I mentioned. We have 2 different loans, the Connecticut Solar Loan, which is represented here by Ron French, who came all the way over from the Brookfield side of Newtown. And he's with our partner, Sungage Financial.
4.5 miles. Thank you.
Sweet little commute there. But if you have any questions about the Connecticut Solar Loan, there's some great material here. And feel free to talk to Ron afterwards, or the installer, which is really one of the best partners, I think, for the Connecticut Solar Loan in the state. We also have another loan called the Smarty Loan, which is nice because it allows you to bundle different measures. It's not just for solar. It allows you to do energy efficiency upgrades. If you wanted to put in a charger for an electric vehicle, you can use it for that. And you can even use 20% of the loan for things like shoring up the roof rafters or doing some tree trimming if you need to clear out some branches that are shading your building. We work together with all the parties, including Smart Power, who we hired to do the marketing and outreach, and the town to provide smooth sailing over the next 20 weeks. And normally we provide inspections for all systems, but because Ross is such an experienced and high-quality installer, you're on the self-inspect list, so we don't have to check every one, but they will go through that, as well as your town building department and CLMP representatives. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Erin, and she'll tell you a little more about the program.
So guys, you're starting to get the idea now, right? I mean, you know, that, but the only thing you really need to know about solar is one thing. It's a phone number. It's all you need to know. Pick up the phone and just call them. Just call, did we get Raw Solar up there? Hey, there we go, all right. That's all you need to do. Pick up the phone, give them a call, all right? Now listen, guys, John, you want to come back to me? Now, this Saturday, when you're on the soccer field, all right, and you're watching the little kids run around there and everybody's having fun, you want to look over at your neighbor and you say, are you planning on renting out your roof? And what are they? Rent out my roof? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm thinking about renting out my roof. I can get paid to rent my roof. You get paid to rent your roof? Gee, my roof ain't doing nothing. How much you get? And that's, guys, and it's the little talk. It's the small talk, you know? And it's so true. Put a tattoo on your roof, rent it out. You're going to get paid money. We're going to show you how different things work. But first, we're going to show you Erin. She's the one that's going to give us the numbers each week. So each week, she'll update us. So, John, let's hear from Erin.
So my name's Erin O'Sullivan. I'm with Smart Power. It's a marketing nonprofit group that focuses on clean energy and energy efficiency. We have a series of tasks and roles up here, but my main job is to make the job of our solar ambassadors as easy as possible. So they're really the nuts and bolts of the campaign. They're the people who go and actually talk to their neighbors and reach out to their community and really make this program work. We found that one of the #1 indicators of whether or not someone is going to go solar is if they know someone who already has. So I would encourage anyone who knows someone who's gone solar. If they want to share their story, we'd be eager to share it. That goes for you out in TV land as well. We're always trying to really share those stories with our audience here. One of our biggest tools that we use to advance the program is our website, www.solarizect.com/Brookfield. Here you'll be able to see our upcoming events, testimonials from people who have already gone solar, as well as sign up for your own solar home survey. It's free. Ross will come over to your house. They'll check your roof, they'll check your circuit breaker. They'll go into all of that later, but there's no obligation, and really only a couple clicks, and you'll be on your way. As I said earlier, it's really the solar ambassadors that make this program tick. And if I could just take a moment to acknowledge some of the Energy Commission, Marcy already stood up, but could the other members kind of give a wave to identify themselves? Yeah, thank you guys very much. And you'll probably be seeing more of them. I know they've been standing outside the Peach Wave and handing out flyers and being really active, so hopefully you'll see much more of that. If any of you guys would like to join them, please let us know. You can reach me or Marcy. You can find our information also on the website. We hope to see you soon. And I did want to, just to accentuate those solar stories, these are some of the people who have gone solar in Brookfield. And if you want to reach out to either of them, we can connect you, and you can ask them your questions about what it was like to go solar, what their hesitancies were, and why they actually arrived at their decision. Ross Solar Group, who you're going to get to know very well over the next 20 weeks, wasn't just selected randomly for your town. There was a very competitive bidding process that went into this. A lot of installers were bidding on your town's business, and Ross was the one who rose to the top based on their pricing, experience, and equipment. So I think you've got a real winner here, and I'm looking forward to working more with Ross as we go forward together.
Not to mention they were created here.
Also, they were created here. I'm sure they'll get into that too. There is a very firm deadline from the campaign. It is 20 weeks from tonight. We found that there are a lot of people who wait until the very last minute. I'm sure any of the students out there can relate. Papers are always turned in about 2 seconds before the deadline, and the day before your taxes are due, no one can get into the post office. It's just a little piece of human nature. So you guys are kind of forward thinking and that you're here early, that you're jumping ahead of things. I would encourage you, if you're thinking about it, to ask for a solar home survey now. We always at the end of the campaign see this huge spike, hundreds of people signing up at the very last minute or trying to go solar or sign their proposals, and you don't get that very personalized touch when you're one of 300 like you do when you're one of 30. So now is the time. You can reach us here, both Bob and myself, at any time, but I would like to introduce now Ross Solar, who can really get into a little more depth.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, now we're going to get down to the meat of the matter. We're going to meet Stefan, who not only is going to explain pretty much how the systems work, but we're going to start talking about money. And when you see some of the money that's involved and some of the money that you can make, I know it sounds hard to believe, you can be a capitalist, or even worse, you can become a creationist when you create your own electricity. Sorry. So anyway, guys, I want you to meet Stefan. Stefan, bail me out, buddy. Go ahead, John.
So my name is Stefan Hartman. I'm with Ross Solar Group. Thank you very much for having us. We were started here actually in Danbury. We started in a house. We used the garage as a place to store panels and stuff. My desk was in what would have normally been the living room. I had a great view of the street and all the kids playing in the yard and stuff. And 2 bedrooms were used as the offices for the 2 Ross brothers. So we outgrew that pretty quickly. That was in 2007, and moved over to Brookfield, and that's where we really grew our company. We were over on Grays Bridge Road for a long time. I don't know, maybe some of you have driven past it, the little industrial park behind Panera Bread and shop right there. And that's where we were until last year when we bought a building just over in Danbury, so we still stayed really close. And here's a little bit more about Ross Solar. You can read some of it, I guess, but we've grown to the point where on the residential side, we've installed roughly 1,400 installations. We were number one in the last Solarize Round Classic, which is what you guys are participating in, the 20-week round. Also the Solarize Express up in Stafford Springs. Between those two programs running simultaneously, about 120 houses went solar. And even as of just last Friday, people are still signing up. Even though they missed the deadline and some of the incentives changed, it's still a good deal. I don't know what the final tally is out there. Maybe someone from Ross knows, but a very successful program. The numbers really make a lot of sense, and I'm going to show you guys today what we'll be looking for. Too bad this slide's not really working out. It's got a lot of our bragging rights on it. Some of the things that you'll want to know about us in addition is that we don't just do houses. We've done a lot of commercial municipal work. We take that high-level corporate experience from companies like Pfizer, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Walmart, and it's all expertise and experience that we apply to our bread and butter residential business. So every house really gets a lot of knowledgeable technicians working on it. So I'll start with a question. Got a few random items up here: a 9-volt battery, cassette tape, an electronic calculator, and that's a lint roller in the middle there. Anybody have any idea what they have in common? I'll take a guess if anybody wants one.
Electricity.
Electricity? Well, a lint roller, you know.
Friction. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, true. Yeah, static electricity, right?
Static.
They're all younger than the modern solar panel. A lot of people come to me and they think that solar is a new technology and they're wondering, is it really going to work? You're talking about 20, 30, 40 years. Where are you guys getting these numbers from? Fact of the matter is if you rely on your lint roll and your 9-volt battery to do its job, you can put even more faith in a solar panel. It's been very proven over time in the harshest environments, not just terrestrially, but in space. So applying it to the house is something that's relatively new. 10 or 15 years, it's really started to take off, even though there are those who've had it for a couple of decades on their home. A little bit more specifically, there are a lot of different types of solar panels out there. So I want to really quick just qualify what this technology is. There's solar hot water, there's solar, passive solar houses you may have heard about. This is solar electricity. So these panels silently and motionlessly create electricity from light, not heat, and that's used to offset your electric bill in your house. So the main components of the array, starting with number 1 up there, and it's a little dark, but the solar panels, that's what goes on the roof and everybody sees as you're driving around. That's the most significant and most expensive part of the array. That power comes out in the form of DC, direct current. Your house, however, runs on AC, alternating current. So we have another component, number 2, the inverter. That takes that power and makes it compatible with all the loads in your house. What we do is we tie that into your breaker panel, and if you're at home and it's a sunny day, you're actually running your house on that solar power. But then step 3, the utility meter. Let's say you turn off all of your electrical loads in the house, you kill the air conditioner, and you decide to go to the beach on that same sunny day. That power doesn't get stored in batteries, it doesn't get lost, it goes back to the utility, and they give you full credit for that electricity to use later. Now, they don't buy it from you. What's happening is they're basically saying, okay, so this house gave us 30 kilowatt hours today. We owe them that back before we try to sell them any electricity. And regardless of the going rate, when you deliver them that power, they owe you the energy back regardless if there's been a price change. And then finally, number 4, you also have a means to keeping track of the performance of your solar array. I said there's no moving parts. It's not a very exciting thing to watch. So you need a way to keep tabs on your investment and make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. A lot of these pictures probably look familiar to what you've seen over here. Solar is not as ugly as a lot of people like to think it is. Yeah, there's some pretty hideous systems out there. Like any form of contracting, some people are going to be better at their jobs than others. So when a contractor installs a solar array that's jigsaw puzzled up there, silver framed, and it's all asymmetrical, it's not a very well thought out system. We want to protect people's curb appeal of their homes, and we also want to protect our industry. We don't want people driving by a system saying, I'll never do that on my house. That's not a way to protect the industry and make sure that it's around for a long time.
Guys, don't those solar panels look gorgeous? I mean, like they belong there? I mean, I saw a house down in New Canaan, and it must have added, I don't know how much value it added, but I mean, they were good. You drove by, you wanted to stop and look. I mean, it was like somebody putting a nice fountain in their front, you know. I mean, this just blew me away. It was a nice, heavy, dark, black panel. You know, at first, if you didn't know what they were, you wouldn't know what they were. But anyway, you know, he said, Stefan said that solar's not fun to watch. Guys, I beg to differ. I really beg to differ. If you go on the website, go to whostellingthetruth.org and click on Live Energy, you can look at Mary Lou's house up in New Fairfield, and you could see exactly how much electricity she generates for the day, for the month, for the year, everything. So go on there and you'll have fun, and you can also look at the windmill. But let's get back to the solarization process. So we'll show you the next clip, and I think we're going to start to talk more about money now. So hit it, John.
We want to protect people's curb appeal of their homes, and we also want to protect our industry. We don't want people driving by a system saying, I'll never do that on my house. That's not a way to protect the industry and make sure that it's around for a long time. So why should you care? Why would somebody invest or sign up for a leased solar array? And there are 4 main reasons here. I'll breeze through quickly. One is you could hedge yourself against the never-ending escalating cost of electricity. We just saw a 21% rate increase in January. Everybody should have gotten a split bill. Because we base so much of our electrical needs on gas, natural gas, when that price goes up, it filters through and electric prices go up as well. So when you install a solar array and you create your own electricity on site, you are now immune to those future rate increases, at least for the portion of your house that has gone solar, which could be 100%, might be 50%. We can get into that later. Those returns are an avoided cost. It's not an income, so you don't have to pay any taxes on that. It's simply money that you had that you didn't have to spend. So it's a consistent return on that investment for decades, and it's yours. Next, it does increase the value of your house. Remember that if you're creating a commodity that has value and lowering the operating costs of that house, it becomes more affordable and it becomes more attractive on a volatile market. So when you can tell somebody that the electric bill, the solar array rather, is going to create this much savings on your electric bill, it's very easy to figure out a value to that, especially when you prorate it out over time. Curb appeal, though, I do want to mention that that's a subjective thing. So if it's an ugly array and it's not a quality system, just like painting your house some hideous color, it's only going to hurt values of your house. And then finally, the environmental benefits are huge. In fact, usually they're pretty overshadowed. It's a carbon neutral resource. It only takes a solar panel roughly 18 months to 2 years to replace its own carbon footprint from being manufactured, and then it lives its life for the next 40 years, only helping the environment. Another thing that goes really unappreciated is that if you create electricity at a house, out where it's needed, and you consume it there, you've offloaded not just the demand of your house on the grid, but also the grid's strain of having to deliver you that power. So just like if you drive a more fuel-efficient car, or if you go to an electric car, somewhere a tanker truck didn't have to drive out on the road and deliver it to a gas station. Same thing here. It's called distributed generation. You're generating it right where it's needed, and it's 3 times more efficient than having it piped in from a power plant 75 miles away. And there are studies about the resale value of the home. These slides are going to be available online, and here are some resources for people who might want to follow up and learn a little bit more about that. Before I dive into the electric bill, any questions on the solar array itself? Any questions on that 4-step slide I went through? You with me so far? All right, good. So when you install a solar array, it's going to offset your electric bill. These don't have batteries. You're not storing it on site. You're not living off of the grid. You're still connected to the grid. But there are parts of the bill that are going to be affected, and you'll see a definitive change, and I'll show you the next few slides. The first thing you'll notice is, you probably can't see it, it's kind of far away, but the supply rate. Everybody thinks that this rate of roughly 9 cents or 8 cents is what they're paying for electricity. Reality is it's only half the story. If you flip the bill over, we got 2 other things here I want you to to take a look at. First is the graph. There's your usage over the course of a year. And there's a bunch more charges. Let's get a closer look at those. So this kilowatt hour number right here is what you'll be reducing when you install a solar array. So what would have been 480 could now be as low as 0. And anything that's multiplied by that 480 would then become 0. Now there's one charge on the bill that does not have a multiplier. It's a fixed $16 a month charge. Even if you create all of your own electricity and then some, you're still going to have that $16 a month bill. So this is what your bill looks like before going solar, and here's after. Remember that usage chart that shows the 12-month? You can see this person installed their system. That's February is when that system went in, and immediately the electric bill went to almost 0. Then as March, April, May, June, July came around, it went completely to 0. All of those multipliers are completely gone. The utility doesn't want to waste ink, I guess, and multiply everything by 0, so they just leave it out. But I know it's small, but there is a $16 charge here. So this customer had a $16 bill, but he's got 1,300 kilowatt hours in the bank already in just about 5 months of operation. And the idea is now that bank is there to be used through the fall, through the winter, when the sun stops being quite as beneficial to the solar array. So you could generate all of your needed power between April and September from your solar array. It could be covered in snow. From November, it doesn't happen, but let's just say if it did, if it got covered in snow and it stayed that way, you could theoretically still have enough of electricity in the bank with the utility to have a 0 electric bill.
See, guys, that gets a little confusing, because it's hard for me to understand that you can create enough power in just part of the year to get you credit for the full year. But I could see how it would work. And remember at Mary Lou's house in New Fairfield, there was actually 1 month where she produced more than she really produced. I think it was back in March or something. It was wild. But since we're on a roll with the numbers, we want to get right back into the video so you could see more about the numbers. And guys, unfortunately, we're going to run out of time, but we'll come back when there's about 30 seconds left, and I'll be able to say goodbye to everybody. So, John, let's keep going.
So the numbers. So if you buy a system, first off, you're going to notice something. There are 2 prices here. The top one, the 31,360, that's how much your average solar array, 7,000 watts, would cost on the average, outside of a Solarize program. That's what the average system cost in Connecticut is. In Solarize, that price is about, $5,500 less. What's the percentage there, Aaron? Like 20 or 30% less there? Mm-hmm. So it's a significant discount just starting off with the gross cost of the solar array. You're going to get, in this case, a $25,800 system is going to get roughly $7,200 right off the top from the Clean Energy Fund, or the Clean Energy Finance and Investment Authority. I'm going to call that CEFIA. The remaining amount is eligible for a 30% federal tax.
Guys, we're pulling a fox on you. If you want to see the rest of the numbers, you got to go to the website, guys. I'm sorry, we don't do this intentionally, I mean, I'm just happy we get most of the stuff up. But go to our website, and you'll see you can watch the whole video without interruptions, from beginning to end, what happened in Brookfield. And I tell you, the numbers are going to blow you away when you see that you can make money by renting your roof. When you're next to your friend at the soccer game, you're not going to whisper to him. You're going to scream at him, because you're going to say, hey, this is the opportunity of a lifetime.